Do my eyes deceive me? I typed this little graphic at the bottom of the screen, and I don't believe it. Alongside Ira Schofel, the managing editor of Warchant.com, my name is Tom Lang. And there it is, Ira, 2021 FSU signee, Destin Hill, somebody that the message boards have, 50 threads about over the last year. And every live chat we do on Warchant TV, Destin Hill's name comes up. Well, what do we know now after what happened late Tuesday night?
Yeah, he's actually in the FSU student directory now, and this is kind of like the final, maybe the final step, maybe the penultimate step to actually seeing him on campus. But it's been an ongoing saga. As like you said, he signed in 2021, did not enroll that fall. We were told at the time by people in the program that they expected maybe by January. Then that didn't happen. Then maybe the next year, and then that didn't happen. And then the big, kind of the I don't want to say shocking news, but a lot of people have just kind of moved on at this point. And last December, Sam Spiegelman with On3 tweeted that, yeah, I'm expecting him to be on campus at Florida State in May. We started asking around. We were hearing that might indeed be true. And then, there's been other signs along the way, and we've been hearing that it's going to happen. But to actually see his name in the directory, and his name in the directory, if there's any FSU students out there who check in the directory, he actually, I believe it's his legal name, Destin Pazan, which was what he went by, or Pazan, which is what he went by in high school until late in the recruiting process. Then he changed his name to Destin Hill. That's how he's listed in the student directory, but it is him. And we were told about a week or two ago when he did enroll at Florida State for the summer that would be the name he's listed under. Now, we don't know when he is on the FSU official roster. He may be going by Destin Hill, but so there's a little confusion there. But it is him, and he is in the FSU student directory.
It's unbelievable, Ira. This story it doesn't typically end this way. If a kid doesn't make it to campus in a reasonable time, and I understand there might be extenuating circumstances, but it just, unless maybe they go the JUCO route, there is not a reunion. This is a unique situation, in at least the time that I've covered Florida State. And look, On3, I don't know that it existed, Ira, before Destin Hill signed with Florida State, but here would be the ranking system. Look, there's a photo of him in Florida State garb. This is from his recruiting visit, no doubt, some time ago. But this is a high-level 4-star blue-chip prospect that can do a little bit of everything for Florida State. His huddle film says that he's a combo wide receiver running back. This is a Swiss Army knife, kind of a weapon in the offense. If and when he arrives on campus, gets up to speed at the Power 5 level, and then participates for Florida State, this is not kind of a throwaway prospect that might be a project. This is somebody that was highly thought of in the state of Louisiana that FSU was able to close on.
Yeah, and it's kind of unfortunate that his name, like you said, over the last 2 years, it's kind of been associated with Callahan Bright or Deshaun Platt or some of these players that through the years were highly touted prospects that signed with Florida State and never arrived. So it's kind of become like a running joke, and we've all kind of had our laughs about it throughout the time. But we're not going to get into all the details, but I think his family's gone through real life issues, and so he's here now. And Florida State deserves credit. I think David Johnson, particularly FSU's recruiting coordinator, who kind of helped get them land him out of the state of Louisiana. David Johnson is from New Orleans and coached in that state for a long time, and they've stood by him throughout the process. And the question now is, for Florida State fans, is okay, that's great, and we're happy for him. Does it mean he can help this season? That we don't know. He has not played football in 2 seasons. He was a part of an elite high school football program at Edna Carr High School. There's actually a documentary out right now on Hulu, I believe, about that team. And Greedy Vance, FSU's cornerback, was also on that team. It's a legendary program, and he's a guy with legit track speed. I think they say he runs about 11.07 in the 100 meters, sub 4.4 in the 40. So that kind of elite talent. He was the top signee really in that signing class in 2021 after Mike Norvell's first year here. And, we'll have to see, whether or not he can contribute this season. And, they'll take the first steps in that path next week when he starts classes and maybe participates in some of the player run practices this summer. But, I think the biggest thing is I think everybody's just really happy for this young man that he can now begin his college career.
I look forward to seeing him in fall practice just to, I understand that the listings, 6 feet and so forth, and he runs the times that he runs. But I'm just so skeptical, Ira, that even when I see him walk through the tunnel or walk around the parking lot as they do now into the IPF, and I see him wearing the jersey, and it's going to say Hill or Pazan on the back, and he goes into the practice fields, I'm still not going to believe it. I'm still not going to believe that this saga has ended this way with the kid on campus. But there are implications to this because we did videos on Warchant TV earlier. Be sure and check out the channel, subscribe to it, absolutely free, and like this video. But Ira, Florida State was working with 4 or 5 scholarships this offseason based upon calculations you did. This certainly would take up one of those scholarship places. I don't think they're bringing Destin Hill in as a walk on, right?
No, for sure. And I think they've been factoring that in. And like I said, Florida State's been optimistic really throughout this whole process that he would get here. And so, I think earlier this year, when Sam Spiegelman reported in December and then doubled down and with a full story in March, that his sources told him that Destin would be here this summer. I think Florida State fully expected that that was a scholarship they would need. And then again, Michael Langston, who covers recruiting for us, posted on the boards a couple weeks ago that he was told an official date. It would be mid-May. I can't remember if he said the 12th or the 13th or something like that, but that's coming up this weekend. And then summer classes start next week. So it's kind of one of those things that like Florida State fans and media haven't really wanted to go jump all in the water for because we've been waiting for over 2 years now. But I think Florida State's coaches have felt confident all along that he was going to be here this summer.
I usually in this situation go to a golf analogy, but I'll fight that instinct and I'll do basketball in the spirit of the NBA the NBA playoffs. Ira, it feels like Florida State has a 3-point lead with under 3 seconds to play. They've been fouled. We are now with Destin Hill at the free throw line, and all you got to make is one of two, and this thing is over. It's just in your time covering Florida State, I said it in mine, it's been close to 15 years, but you've been covering college football for a long time. This has to be one of the more unique sets of storylines that you've ever been around because it just doesn't happen where a kid arrives as an undergrad at that university 2 years later.
Yeah, it is, and the challenge with the story again is I think this isn't a situation where it was grades or okay, so you got to go to junior college, you got to go to prep school, and those things can be sensitive enough as it is. But when you're dealing with somebody's personal life, this had nothing to do with football. This had nothing to do with Florida State, and really, I don't think it had anything to do with the young man. So it's not like it may be a story that is never really told. And I think Florida State fans have to kind of be okay with that because there's a natural curiosity. Everybody wants to know what's happening, but we all have things in our personal lives that we don't want broadcasted to the world. So I think a lot of the media has been respecting his privacy and his family's privacy throughout the process. I think that's probably going to continue, but it does create a unique situation, as you said. When he is at the practice fields or the first time he does an interview, it's going to be tricky to see how all that plays out. But it's been cool to see some of the excitement. Just last week, I think it was over the weekend, our Matt Lasser noticed on Instagram that Greedy Vance posted a picture of him and Destin Hill from high school. When they were winning championships with one of their trophies, and he had a message basically like get your popcorn ready because that's how excited they are to see him get to play college football. And I think that at the end of the day, I would encourage people, talking to you on the message boards and on Twitter, to remember this is great news for him. It's very good news for Florida State, but let's not focus so much on the details of what happened or why, and really just kind of enjoy it for this young man because, man, think about what he's been going through. I mean, that's to have to sit and wait for your future for 2 years. It had to have been excruciating.
That's the bottom line for Florida State is the football program certainly got better with this news as they close in on ending the saga with Destin Hill wearing a Florida State uniform and the helmet in Tallahassee. That's really remarkable. This story's not quite dead, but for those of you that don't know anything about this story, it's been a roller coaster at this point. He is now listed in the FSU student directory. It can be put to bed in about 5 days' time, 6 days' time, Ira, if he is confirmed to be on campus
Right.
and taking classes. At that point, that would be the closure to this story. And then it's about football only, correct?
Yeah, and and again, we had talked to some sources in the university, not even along with the football program, a couple weeks ago, and they told us that he was admitted, he was expected to start classes this summer, but he wasn't enrolled yet. being in the student directory, I assume that means he's enrolled in classes for this next coming semester. And again, there's student privacy issues and all that. I don't know what Florida State will confirm, whatever they're going to confirm. But the fact that he is in the directory is a great thing, and it just kind of adds to all of the pieces of the puzzle that support that. Yeah, he's going to be in classes at Florida State.
For the latest into next week, I'm sure. Stay tuned to warchant.com. We'll have that coverage for you. Ira Schofel is the managing editor at warchant.com. He'll have the latest on this news, more stuff in the transfer portal for Florida State, developments later in the week with Jalen Key expected to make a decision here in the near future. Keon Coleman, among others that Florida State's going to entertain to round out their 85 for 2023. That's what we have for you on warchant.com and Warchant TV. Hit the like button on this video, subscribe for absolutely free, and we will talk to you next time on Warchant TV, where Destin Hill is a Seminole.